everybody. I want to welcome you to Monday. Yay, it's Monday! And we're going to be exploring some tips to get you using your third eye. It's more than just using your third eye. It's an experience here that we're having, not just human, but beyond human, but it's going to feel totally human, okay? You're going to do great at this. I want to teach you how you can actually have a conversation with your higher self today. And I've got 4 awesome tips. They're 4 awesome tips, but they're like 4 parts of one awesome tip. Are you keeping up here? It's Monday. Okay, so I had an awesome session with a client. It was psychic development. And this client wanted to talk to their higher self, is really wanting to use the third eye, just like we're going to be exploring today. And their higher self came through and shared these tips. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And I'm going to present them to you. So number 1, pay attention here. You guys paying attention? Number 1 is, this is going to be fun. Literally, number 1 is, this is going to be fun. Okay, so when you're ready to have a conversation with your higher self, the first thing you want to do is remind yourself, this is going to be a blast. I'm going on an adventure here. I'm making a conscious choice to go on an adventure here to make a connection with my higher self. This is going to be a lot of fun. So number 1, remember, this is going to be fun, okay? So there's nothing else in the way, like, I'm going to try to talk to my higher self. No, there's none of that in the way. This is going to be fun. Number 2, like number 2, that many. Okay, so number 2 is, you need to find a place where you can relax. So hang out in a cozy chair or on your couch, in your bed. This isn't about falling asleep because we're going to be paying attention. But you need to be in a comfortable place and make sure that there's no distractions. So this is your one-on-one time with your very best friend, your higher self. This is you and your higher self's time. This is going to be fun. Found a place where I'm going to relax and actually hang out with my higher self. Conscious, dedicated time here, okay? So number 3 is, I am ready now to receive from the conversation. It's important that you do that, okay? So this is fun. I'm in my cozy place. I am choosing to be aware and receiving from the exchange with my best friend, the highest version, part of myself, who's there for me every single day of my life, loves me wholeheartedly, and is a part of this journey with me, okay? Now, number 4, this is where the action happens. And you got this, okay? Okay, so number 4 is, you got to ask a question, okay? This isn't, I want to blabber on for hours about everything in my life and just put it out there and never receive anything in return from that conversation. No, we're just going to create a concise question. What's something you really want to know about? And it can be anything. And don't judge your question. That's kind of a bad question. Maybe there's another way you could word it. No, don't judge your question. Just let it be. Okay. So maybe your question is, maybe you don't like your job, and your question is this where I should be working? And obviously what you want from your higher self is, the answer is logically yes or no, and this is where you should be working, and this is exactly what you should be doing next. So don't expect your higher self to go D, 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 and then you're getting the printout in your head that, okay, now I know what to do. No, you're going to relax and then see what comes up, all right? Comes up from inside yourself. It's going to become an awareness. So this is what the exchange is like. There's no eyeballs inside yourself. There's no ears inside yourself, right? So you can't see or hear anything, but yet you can dream. And in your dreams, it is quite visual, right? And you feel things. And you can feel sad and afraid and in love in your dreams. But you never saw it with your human eyes, right? So what actually perceived it? Your imagination. You could say your imagination, or your soul perceived it. Do souls have eyeballs? They're just energy bodies. They're a part of literally the fabric of everything. So your soul is one ginormous eyeball. And so our perception of a soul could just be one big giant eyeball made out of energy that is part of the fabric of everything. It could be nothing. A soul could be literally just blended into all time and all space. Or it could be perceived as an energy body, something familiar. So All right, we're in the zone. It's Monday, and I'm really excited for you guys to try this. And be sure to comment in the description. I loved all the comments from the October energy Ascension update. It was really fun to see that you guys had tried it out and then shared what your experience was. I was so ridiculously impressed. I mean, I was like, oh my gosh, the world is becoming full of people who are aware. Like, they can tap in beyond their human senses. They're receiving information and they're sharing it. Oh my God. Like, we're coming out of the woodwork right now. Do you understand this? Like, all that oppression and all that challenge and all this struggle and all that defeat for years and years, and the confusion and the struggle between the dark and the light that's out there and inside. Like, we're coming through the woodwork here and we're doing this, and it's an exciting time. Remember, number 1, this is fun, okay? And number 2, you're in the comfy place. Number 3, you're open to receiving. And number 4, ask the question. All right, so let's say your question is, it's about your job, or maybe it's about your relationships. Maybe it's about money. Maybe it's about your kids. Maybe it's about, am I ever going to have a home to live in? I'm living in my car. I mean, I don't know what your scenario is, but every scenario exists out there. We all have real conundrums that we need answers to from our higher self, right? And so we ask the question. Just let it be a question. Higher self, what am I going to do with my job? I'm not happy in my job, and I'd really like an answer to, is this the right job for me? All right, now there's some space in between that it's going to feel like time is passing and nothing is coming to you. That's because you're digesting the message. Don't even worry about that. It's just part of it, okay? You ask the question, you're open to receiving. Now wait and see what the experience is. And you're going to, you might feel emotional. It might be like you just start crying for no reason. It might be where you start thinking about what you've always wanted to do with your life and what you are doing with your life. If you could find a way to, it's almost like hands that are climbing up a cliffside. You need to grab onto something that's coming to you. And now what I do is I speak out loud about what I'm grabbing onto that's coming to me. I literally grab onto it from inside myself, and then I make it real in our physical reality. I'm actually pulling it from the astral plane, which I'm connected to inside myself. And there's a gnat. I'm getting attacked here. All right. So I'm pulling it, right? And then I'm pulling it through me, through my voice here. I'm pulling it through myself, through my voice here, and then I'm making it real in the external world. And when you grab onto it and you describe it, just like I do in every single video, you'll see I'm describing what's coming to me. I'm grabbing hold of it, I'm describing it. And you can say, okay, I know my higher self is communicating with me, so I'm just going to sense out what's coming to me, and then I'm going to describe it in the best way that I can. Because right now you're perceiving it. You're actually looking at it with your internal eyes and ears. Your internal sensations of touch and sound and taste and smell and all that is happening, okay? You're not blocked. That's so bogus. You're just not used to using this sensory skill. But as a kid, you were using it all the time. You still use it as an adult. Just need to get back in the rhythm of it, right? All right, so now you're receiving from the inside of yourself, and you're speaking out loud. And you're saying, I feel emotional right now. I feel defeated. I see myself, and I really want to tell this coworker how I really feel about them, but then I see myself with a lip button. My lips have a button, and I can't speak how I really feel. And then all of a sudden there's just this pause, like the image completely disappears, like you've lost your train of thought. That actually is your higher self is showing you this image. Not that it's going dee, 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 dee in your head and it's doing this printout thing. No, it's actually you just had an exchange. So just wait for the space in between to happen. And now you're going to receive the next message. This is where you're downloading the information, and then it's appearing from inside yourself. You're going to grab hold of the next thing that comes to you, okay? So the next thing that comes to you, just give it it's going to feel like an hour has passed and it's only like 1 minute. It's like, okay, nothing is coming. That's because you're paying attention. and you feel like an exchange should be quick. It takes time for your body and your mind and all your senses to digest insane quantities of light code information. It's literally what it is. And then to process it and to give you the information in a way that you can access it. Okay, so the next thing that's coming to me as I'm sharing this example, we're going to grab hold of the next thing. And the next thing, it's coming out of like a greenish colored light. So here you are, you're saying this, okay, the next thing, that there was nothing and now something's coming to me. And I'm starting to experience this strange sort of greenish colored light. And I see a form coming towards me from the light. And I'm starting to realize that in a way, I've been sleeping. And this job was giving me an opportunity to sleep, even though everything in my human state is saying that I've been interacting, I've been grumpy, I've been angry, I've been frustrated, I don't feel heard, I don't feel valued, I feel stuck. I've been stuck for, who knows, 15 years or something. I've been stuck for a long time and nothing is changing. But something about this figure coming from the green light, it's what it feels like to me is that my higher self is guiding me to a new place of conscious awakening, of conscious awareness. And I'm starting to feel like there's a resurrection coming for me. And that it's not necessarily something that can be identified as go to this business at this address and then talk to this specific person and do this resume. No, it's like this awareness of divine truth is unfolding inside myself. And it's an experience that I'm having, and it is so stinking enriching because my God, is this full of love? Is this full of meaning here? It doesn't have to be full of logic, but yet it is full of meaning. So do this. Talk to your higher selves. You're going to be able to accomplish this today, and it's like it's time, right? And share your experience. Share your experience. Get on the bandwagon. It's time. All right. So this Monday channeling tip, I was going to incorporate it with me channeling my higher self for all of you. So now we've got the channeling tip. You guys can try this out. I'm going to share a little message from my higher self just to enrich our lives and see what my higher self would like to share with all of us. But be sure to put in the description what your higher self is wanting to share with you and your question, if you feel open to it, right? And enlighten us. Maybe you have a question like, what are we going to do about the world today? And your higher self shares a message, and this is going to actually reach everybody who watches this video. We're going to see your comment. We're going to say, oh my God, you did it. And that was the message. Oh my gosh, I really needed to hear that today. Thank you. Do you see how we're all part of this thing together? We're like all, you guys remember Skateland? Like I remember Skateland, and we're like all in this thing together. We're going around and around in a circle, jamming out to this music. Like we're all in this thing together, right? It's fun. It's fun. Number one is it's fun, right? Okay, I'm going to chill. I'm going to connect with my higher self. I don't have a question. My higher self was like, Abby, what's your question? I was like, oh, I guess I have number one, number two, number three. What is my question? I didn't come up with one. All right. Okay, that's actually what that's, I guess, tip number 5 or my number 1 tip. My big tip has a bunch of tips in it. Okay, so if you don't have a question, you don't have to. You can just open, like you're just open to receiving a message from your higher self that's not related to anything specific. Same technique, okay? Same technique. Say, okay, I don't have a question. So there you told your higher self, I don't have a question. I just want to receive what is the most meaningful message. And for me, I want to receive what is the most meaningful message for all of us today. Could be about the world, could be about this process. Okay. So I'm in the space in between because I have no idea what my higher self is saying to me right now. Okay, this is what's happening. It's weird. All right. Basically, I see a human forehead, but it starts to morph and it looks like an alien being. And then it also looks like a really gross looking monster. And I start to see the skin is ripping here at the top, and it is ripping down, and it is splitting, okay, and opening up. And I see there's 3 eyes, okay, like literally there's 1, 2, 3 eyeballs here on the forehead. And the monster is furry and green. It felt like an alien being, like someone that we would identify as a monster, but not actually a monster, actually lives somewhere and lives a real life somewhere in the universe, but we would depict this as a monster. And this being, it's apparently comes from the spider family because it's really furry. You know how jumping spiders are really cute when they're like close up in the camera? They're really furry and cute looking. This thing is like a ginormous jumping spider. It actually looks really cute in some ways, but it looks like a monster. And then also it's showing that it has 3 eyes where the 3rd eye is, okay? My higher self is like, don't you love what happens when you don't have a question? What does any of this mean? I don't know. All right, let's follow along and see what happens next, because I have no freaking clue what this is about. All right, here, let's go. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm supposed to touch the eyeballs. I'm poking it in its eyeballs. And I hear the word friend, and it opens its body up in its arms, and it wants to give me a hug. And it shows me that from above its head, where we would describe our crown is, it kind of likes to, it can stand upright, and it can also crawl very comfortably so. And when it's crawling, it shows the top of its head is more like back here, actually, is more what it feels like to me, but it actually extends out into the universe, and it receives incredible guidance. And it shows that it doesn't weave webs with its body like our spiders do. It shows that it weaves webs in the cosmic, it's like in the cosmos. And in those webs, there's these intersecting lines of information, what we might describe as nodes of energy. And it learns from the different nodes of energy that is in the universe. And it's actually absorbing food and information from the very light of the intersecting, basically, spider web of the cosmos. And it really wants to introduce us to this, because nobody should feel energetically drained, ever. And nobody should feel energetically drained. And it's giving us access here through this conversation and through the imprint in our imaginations on how to get in touch with this, how to tune into this amazing spiderweb of light. And it pools energy in different places. It says to us, it might look like the stars. And then if you connect the dots, maybe the stars are where the pools of energy are. And you could pull pools of energy from those stars. And it's showing that there's other layers, like what we would say like mycelial network, or it's like other layers of where energy flows. And you could pull from those layers too. And it's not like it's not like the earth where we're constantly pulling materials that could eventually there's no replacement for those. This is constantly filling in itself. It's like always filling in and filling in. So you can't completely drain this dry, ever. Even every living thing in the whole universe feeding off of this, so to speak, is not going to drain it, because it's connected to a massive life force energy. And we all have access to the same life force energy. It's really important that we start to open our eyes and open our minds and open our senses to what exists out there and what we have access to. And this spider being is saying that nobody in our whole world should ever feel tired or drained. And that in time, so to speak, it's kind of like alluding to this, that when we learn how to work with this energy, we won't be hungry anymore for actual physical food. It's almost like it will feed our energy field. Our energy field will be fed by this. And it's interesting because this spider being is showing me that here's a dense physical being that is duplicate of the dense tree or the dense rock, is once learns how to be fed by energy, slowly but surely becomes of a different kind of density, and evolves into new landscapes of that same density. And that is what basically the evolution or the ascension of the human race, so to speak, how that works. Because we're evolving into the next density of Earth. Even though it seems like the same density of Earth that it's always been, it's actually a lighter density as we are becoming lighter density beings. And we're evolving into becoming lighter and lighter density beings, and the Earth will become a lighter density version of Earth. And this is happening for us. And this being is very, very loving, is very kind, and is there for anybody who would ever want help, who would ever want to ask a question of someone a little bit different. And my higher self is saying that the reason why I was guided to this being in particular, what's interesting is, believe it or not, this being does have a conflict in their existence. And the conflict isn't, I guess you could say it is akin to loneliness. Because it seems like all of its needs are met, but it is longing for communication. It's longing for visitors. It's longing for new meaning from beyond just the intersections of the light and the information and the pools of light and what it all means. Not just to be kind of an onlooker from beyond. Seems like this being is kind of, I don't know, separated from like a community of its own kind. And really very peaceful. That's why it's hard to say that, well, it's lonely, because it is so peaceful. But I can tell there's just a little flicker in there that we could enrich its life. By just saying we love you and thank you for this would enrich its life and bring wholeness to this being. And that we have access to all of this. We have access to all this. And it begins with step number 1. And this is fun. We're going to go on an adventure. And number 2, just find a comfy place to chill, right? Number 3, you're ready for receiving, okay? And that's a conscious choice, right? This is a conscious choice. All this stuff is a conscious choice. It's a conscious choice. So you're not unconsciously doing anything. You're saying, I legit want this. I'm consciously choosing this. Now, number 4, right? Okay, what's my question? Or if I don't have a question, let's just see what comes up. How was I to discern what the heck that was about? I couldn't have, because I had to allow the conversation to unfold. It's not like my higher self was like, D, 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 and the printouts going through and it's like, I know all this stuff. No, I have to be in the experience of receiving. I'm in the experience of receiving. It's like the dream must unfold. This isn't a dream. This is legit information here. This is empowering, transformative. This is the human race evolving and growing, and we're awakening to each other, and is getting better and better and better and better. That's really what is happening here. That is really what is happening here. So I'm very excited for you guys to try this. So excited to hear how this works for you. What is your wisdom for all of us? Just put it in the comments section. If this video has helped you, put it out there on Facebook. Share with your friends. Share with the world. Encourage people to check out what I'm doing, because I am here to help. I'm here with a solution that is going to empower the human race, and I would love your help in accomplishing this. Every single person that filled out the form to help me get on the Cryon show, I don't know if I'm on the show yet, but we're on our way. Like, I filled in that form. I said, I'm ready for this. I would love to be on the Cryon show. You guys are like, oh man, Abby on the Cryon show. That sounds so cool. You actually took the time. You made a conscious choice to actually help me, right? Oh my God, I'm like shaking in like unbelievable joy that you guys are doing this for me. Like, let's grow, right? Let me help you, you help me, and this is how it works, man. We're going places. So thank you so much for this. If there's anything I could do to help you in an individual session, you can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. I'm also doing some fun stuff this October on Patreon. It's all about the psychic senses with the archangels. So we're keeping up on the psychic development theme. It feels like a right time to be working on evolving these gifts in ourselves. Everybody, we all have this. So it's just figuring out how it works, right? So If you want to check out Patreon, it's a lot of fun. Amazing people out there. We're learning a lot together. Go to patreon.com/Abbey Normal's Wisdom Quest. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful Monday. I can't wait to see what we discover next.